Should wear my glasses. Awesome. Yay. Welcome, guys. Welcome, everyone, to the book club and the first call and the first chapter reading of Living Beyond Distractions. And what I love this. This basically is a book based on. It's a transcript from a telecall that Gary and Dain did. It's This telecall is also available, and I highly recommend you guys, like, at some point also buy the telecall if you would like. It's about I think it's about 70,000 or 80,000 rupees. You can get the recordings, or if you have the book, and I'm hoping you guys have the book for the book club. And it's really a phenomenal book. And my take on this book and the topics on this book is, like I was telling Shruti and Parita about it, that most of the limitations, most of the and even if, how many of you have had upset in your work? Or yeah, and when was the last time you had your last upset? 7 days ago, a month ago, or a year ago, or 10 years ago? And
10 minutes ago.
Every day.
Okay, 10 minutes ago, yeah. Of course, the book, yeah, clearly the book is not running on you at all. So basically, for something like with upset, and how many people actually have have you guys noticed, like, people don't have not only just upset with the people in their life. Now, they also have upset with their life. They have upset with the world. How many people actually have upset right now with the world, or they have suppressed it, or they have, like, they are aware of, or something, but there is this whole thing that they are doing their best, to not have a reaction. But basically, anywhere you have a reaction, you're creating an upset, if you look at it that way, right? And it's like, how many people have upset with their business? How many things about their business are they upset about? How many people, thank you, how many people have upset about their relationship, or how their relationships are in their life? Thank you guys for your vulnerability. And how many people, and it's like, so sometimes we are upset about something that's going on, and sometimes we have upset with the thing that's going on. And most of the times it's not one or the other. Most of the times it's like both of those together. That, and upset is really like one of the examples. But like what I've seen is like, all we kind of not function from one distractor implant. And it's like most of the times the distractor implants are so caught up and tied together. So what my target with this book club is that, that after this book club, you guys are, I mean, during the book club also, we'll look at like what's coming up for you. But after this book club, you walk away being able to tackle where you're functioning from distractor implants, where you are, so you were able to walk away with that clarity, with that energy, with actually a different life that is living beyond distractions. Okay, so what else is possible? How does it get better than that? So we'll start with Anger, Rage, Hate, Fury, chapter 1. And the way I like to do the book club is we will read through the chapter. If you guys have questions, if it's like a totally burning question and you cannot focus on what we are reading afterwards, you can raise your hand and you can let me know if you have a question. Or otherwise, I like to finish the chapter, or maybe in between the chapters, sometimes when the ping is there, I'll ask you guys if you have any questions. And then in the end, after the finishing the chapter, or after, like, we will address everyone's questions, everyone's thought, feelings, and emotions about, whatever's coming up. And we'll also try to look at if we can do home plays. And what else is possible? I'll do better than that. Any questions? Thank you. Any questions before we begin? Reading? Cool. All right. Okay. Nice. So, anger, rage, hate, fury. Gary. Hello, everyone. Today we are going to talk about the distractor implants: anger, rage, hate, and fury. I've invited all of you to send me your questions, and several people have written in asking, how come I do anger? Okay, so by the way, there's also one more thing. Like tomorrow onwards, we'll start having a dedicated WhatsApp group for the people of the book club. So please, guys, whatever is coming up for you during the day, if stuff is coming up, please use that WhatsApp group to put in your questions, to work to whatever this thing is, and I'll be there to address it for you. Okay. So it'll be kind of like 7 calls. So our last call is on the 8th of May, right? So up from now till 8th of May, like, what if we all can be an engagement, to basically not just during the call, but during the day, during the night, and whatever's coming up. And we are there. Let's have the conversation going. Okay. So anger, potency, and intensity. 99% of the people in the world do anger as a way of getting control. We have misidentified and misapplied anger as a source of force in the world. We think of it as something that creates a potency. For many people, potency means power or strength, but I'm using it in a slightly different sense. A chemical that can alter other chemicals is considered potent. It can be a catalyst to change other chemicals. When you are potent, you can alter everything in your life. You can change whatever is occurring so it works better. As infinite beings, we all have this potency, but often it seems inaccessible to us because it lies beneath distractor implants, which are designed to distract us and keep us from being the infinite beings we truly be. We tend to misidentify anger as potency because anger gets people to react, but it doesn't allow them to act. So, can you talk about what reaction is? Reaction is X occurs and you do Y, whether you want to or not. Something occurs and you react to it rather than being able to act to it. When we do anger, are we looking for someone else's reaction? Yes. You're looking for where you can be in control. That is why you do anger in the first place. You see it as a way of getting control. Is that true? If we are doing anger for potency, when you use potency with us, you're doing it to get a reaction. Well, I do force, but I don't do anger. Most of you do anger rather than force. And unfortunately, for almost all of you, you suppress anger. You suppress it you suppress it and you suppress it until you react. And then you think that is potency. But that's not necessarily being potent at all. That is creating a situation where you are in reaction and so is everybody else. So how many of you actually end up suppressing their anger because they know that they cannot let out their anger? So how many of you actually function from just these two choices in your life? Either you let out your anger or you suppress your anger. Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. What if you didn't have to have just these two choices? What if there was another place and, another place for you where you could function from? Can you explain how you do force? I will get very loud. If I want to create a force in your life, I will get very intense with the energy. You have noticed me doing intensity with you. Is it anger? No, but it is intensity. The real power in life is the capacity to use intensity when you need to get a point of view across or when you want to get people to do something different from what they are currently doing. Dain says, here is one of the ways you can tell the difference between intensity and what people call anger. 3 seconds. After you do intensity, you're back to the gentleness of you, or you can be if you choose it. There are no repercussions in your body. There is no elevated heart rate. There is no sense of being stuck in whatever happened. That's not so with anger. That's a good point, Dain, because when you do anger from the place of explosion, you are pushing yourself out of true existence into a place of trying to control others. And when you do that, you use a great deal of force against your own body. That's the problem with all distractor implants. They go as force against your body, which keeps you in a constant state of adrenaline pump at the wrong moment. It means you're in a state of reaction and never in a state of action. I get anger. Did somebody put a message? Okay, cool. I get anger and potency confused. My father would get angry about everything, even small, insignificant things. I get angry too. And sometimes I have a hard time letting go of the anger. I thought I had gotten through this, but recently I got very angry at a so called friend. I told her to get out of my life, and when she came near me, I got furious and thought I would hit her. When you do anger, from the implanted point of view of the distractor implants, you can't let the anger go away because you are in a reactive state. Every time you think about the person, you are in reaction to what they did or what they said that caused you to go off. But what they said or did isn't what caused you to go off. You were triggered by the fact that it was a distractor implant. That's the thing you grew up with. You grew up with somebody who triggered you at every opportunity, and now, given the right circumstance, you must, of necessity, go to anger, rage, fury, and hate. This is exactly where you went with your friend. So I'm going to repeat this again, okay? You grew up with somebody who triggered you at every opportunity. And now, given the right circumstance, you must of necessity go to anger, rage, fury, and hate. This is exactly where you went with your friend. So, Dain, we tend to try to understand these things logically, and there is a lot to be gotten from that. But here's something you can do that doesn't involve logic or figuring it out. When you are in the middle of whatever is triggering you, say to yourself, all the distractor implants creating that, I now destroy and create it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, hot and cold, all nine shells, birds and beyond. You will notice your energy shifting and changing. These distractor implants keep sticking you. What do I mean by sticking? You wanted to let go of the anger, but you were stuck by the distractor implant rather than having the freedom to say, hey, get out of my life. If that was the appropriate thing to say and then moving on, when you can't move on, you are in the middle of a distractor implant. When you can't move on, when you're stuck, you're in the middle of a distractor implant because you are thinking about this. Because you are obsessing about it, you don't have the freedom to choose or be or do something different. That is what a distractor implant is designed to do. It gives you no choice. You said that when you were a child, your father was always doing anger over trivial, insignificant things. That energy had an intensity to it. You probably misidentified and misapplied that, and that as intensity, any intensity like that, is this anger, is this distractor implant point of view, is this stuck place. So when you delivered that energy to your friend, even if it was just an intensity, it was because of the distractor implants you grew up with over the course of your life. You were misidentifying and misapplying that you were doing the same thing you saw happening in your family. And you would tend to do the same thing because that is what you learn at the hand of the Father. I'm aware that frustration is actually just a lack of information, yet I get frustrated at events and what I think of as humans' dumbness, or I go into being right and seeing the other thing as wrong. I go so easily into frustration, then anger, and I get pissed off about how fast I react. I sometimes surprise myself with the level of energy I have, especially when I have to deal with the same person over and over, like an apartment manager. How do I get over this anger and ask questions? That's the place where you say to yourself, everything that allows this distractor implant to exist in my universe, I pop and pot it. That will give you the place of action. Underneath the distractor implants are all the things that give you power, potency, and the action that puts you not in charge necessarily, but not at the effect of anybody. Underneath the distractor implants are all the things that give you power, potency, and the action that puts you not in charge necessarily, but not as the effect of anybody. It is the place where you have choice. That is the place you have got to get to, the place where you recognize the capacity for choice. Here is a process that came out of my head as a result of reading your questions. What physical actualization of the unchangeable and unalterable disease of potency and power are you not acknowledging as the source for the creation of what is hidden beneath all distractor implants? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you destroy and create it all, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, for and for, all nine shows, goes and beyond. So what physical actualization of the unchangeable and unalterable disease of potency and power are you not acknowledging as the source of the for the creation of what is hidden beneath all the distracted plans? Everything that is times a godzillion, will you now destroy and create it all, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, for and for, all nine shows, goes and beyond. Okay, so any questions so far? Shall I continue? Any questions? Okay, cool. Action and reaction. All part of it. I have implants in reaction to my husband. Every time he criticizes me, I go to anger. I get angry and I feel insecure. And it seems like every time I get angry, I get heavy metal poisoning. First of all, if your husband is telling you that you are a pathetic pile of shit, is that a truth or a lie? It's a lie, but when somebody tells you something that is not true about you, you will tend to get angry. But instead of reacting with anger, ask some questions. What did he mean by that? What part of that is loving and caring? What part of that is to just be mean to me? This is the place of not going to anger as a reaction. Asking a question is going to the place of potency and power. The ultimate potency and power is question, choice, contribution, and possibility. So, what did he mean by that? What part of that is loving and caring? What part of that is to just be mean to me? And may I suggest a couple of other questions that you can ask with this is, how much of this was judgment? And how much of this was an invalidation of me? How much of this was to invalidate me? Okay, so these, and we'll discuss these 5 questions. If you would like to know more about it. But a lot of times, I was talking to somebody yesterday, and this is what I've seen. A lot of people who have had a history of abuse growing up, or who have witnessed some abuse, or who have faced abuse. A lot of times, क्या होता है कि what they end up doing is they think that something was delivered at them, but they think that that's judgment. So they go into trying to receive the judgment. But in actuality, what's happening is that they have faced. So when I ask them, when I ask them, like, was this a judgment that was delivered at you, or was this an invalidation of your being? So then, they find it lighter that it's an invalidation of being. So when the whole time they're trying to receive the judgment, and there's a stuckness is there. So I'll talk about this a little bit more in detail, after we finish reading. But I just wanted to say, ask these 5 questions. What did they mean by that? Was it coming from a space of loving and caring, or were they just trying to be mean to me? And were they trying to be mean to me? Was this a judgment, or were they trying to invalidate me as a being? Okay. So this is the place of not going to reaction, to anger as a reaction. Asking a question is going to the place of potency and power. The ultimate potency and power is question, choice, contribution, possibility. If you do what Gary is suggesting, you will be in action, not reaction. This will be true even if what your husband says to you is designed to get you to react. You won't be reacting, you will be acting. And I'm not sure whether you guys have recently been on a call with Gary and Dain, but especially during this coronavirus thing, during this pandemic thing that's come up, Gary and Dain have been talking a lot about, instead of going into reaction, go into action. So it's amazing that we're doing this book now. When you have the dynamic you are describing with somebody, they do things to push your buttons. They're trying to get you to react, and you do react. And the situation goes on the same way for years. So how many people try to push your buttons because they want to prove to you or someone else that, look how fucked up this bird you are, or look how crazy you are. And or look, like, they are going into reaction, or they are being hypersensitive, or they are being crazy again. Everything that brought up, can you please destroy and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. When you have the dynamic, you're describing with somebody, they do things to push your buttons. They're trying to get you to react, and you do react, and the situation goes on the same way for years. And it proves that they are right. When you change that, when you come out of the reaction and go into action, the other person doesn't get to use that to prove they are right anymore. They may do even more to get you to react. But when you stop reacting, you are no longer at the effect of the situation. And how many of you go into suppressing the anger, assuming that is the way you are not reacting? Okay, so how many of you have basically decided that reaction means exploding? So you are not supposed to give a reaction. Yeah. So you're supposed to behave yourself. So instead, you go into suppressing anger, not realizing that that also is a reaction itself. Everything that brought up, can you please destroy and uncreate at all times about Zillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all man shows, boys and beyond. Sometimes it's very hard in the moment since I have a lot of heavy metal reactions going on. My reaction is caused by the toxicity. The toxicity is a result of the distractor implants because the distractor implants themselves are designed to hurt your body and make it reactive. The distractor implants are designed to hurt your body and make it reactive. The body becomes more reactive to the heavy metal programming every time you go into the programming of the distractor implant. That's the reason whenever you go into anger, you need to run all the anger, all the distractor implants, creating this destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all man shows, boys and beyonds. Think it to yourself. You don't have to say it out loud. Notice how after you say it 2 or 3 times, you suddenly don't have the reaction, and the heavy metals no longer have the same effect on you. Is anger just anger, or is it always related to an issue? I have anger toward money, family, disease, other things. When we destroy and uncreate the anger distractor implants, are we destroying it and creating all of the implants, or do we have to make a clearing for every issue related to the anger? You just clear the distractor implants every time they come up. Pretty soon, those will not be the issues. The only reason they are issues is that someone issued this to you as your problem. Be aware of what Gary just said. You have to do the clearing every time anger comes up. A lot of people think I pocket potted anger once, so it's probably done. No, you have to do the clearing every time the anger comes up because there are layers and triggers and all kinds of things that activate it in the world. Every time you pocket pot a distractor implant, you are getting one piece of what activates it. You need to stay on it, which is why we're doing these calls the way we are with time between them. So you can pocket pot all the anger, rage, fury, and hate distractor implants as they come up in your life. You are bright enough, brilliant enough, insane enough to be on this call. You will perceive a lot more of these things in the world. They will be a lot easier to deal with because you are getting these tools. This is how it works. You open yourself to a different awareness of something. You get that awareness in a way you never wanted to know before, or in a way that is a lot more dynamic than what you ever thought it could be, but you also get the tools to handle it. So there's this part I wanna repeat again because so you just clear the distractor implants every time they come up. Pretty soon, those will not be the issues. The only reason they are issues is that someone issued you this as your problem. So someone issued you this as their problem. So what does that mean? Does anyone have any questions about it? Someone issued this as your problem. So what happens is, so this is again something like where somebody makes it your problem. Until then, it's not a problem for you.
So I have a question here.
Thank you. Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So when someone issued the problem, my problem,
Yeah.
is it only about me, or is it a part of their personality too, or is it my problem?
So that's the thing. So it's like before somebody ever first issued something as a problem to you, as you know, like take one example. Yeah. So it's like it's not the first time somebody has issued that as a problem to you.
Okay.
It's something that someone may have made it, issued it as a problem to you way back, and it may have been a different person altogether.
Yes.
So what does this mean? So this basically means that you bought someone else's issue and made it your own. Have you seen, like, sometimes you are not, sometimes you're in a place where you don't have a reaction, and then somebody says, how are you not sad about this? Or how are you not worried about this? Or how are you not angry about this? Yeah, that is one of the ways people issue a problem at you. And then you're like, oh, why am I not worried about it? Oh, okay. Then you buy that as a problem, and then you keep creating that as a pattern in your life. Okay.
So
So
what I understand,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
maybe this problem might be some pattern of mine that I'm carrying from someone else or some
yeah. And
time
all you
maybe.
have to, yes, most of the time, and that's the thing, right? You're an infinite being. So
Mm-hmm.
most of the times, most of these calls and classes, it's not about, okay, theory mein to, yeah, you got it, that you're an infinite being. But most of these are about the reason it's called distractor implant. It's an implant.
Yeah,
It's
I
an
get it.
issue that
Mhm.
somebody implanted in your world and made it your issue.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, so it's like, so everywhere you, okay, so so how many lifetimes and across how many realities, how many dimensions and universes, and including this lifetime, have you been functioning from a space where, just because, have you been functioning from a space where you are at the receiving and the reactive end of being issued the problems and making them your issues and your problems? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all time for God's glory? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pop, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. So another way, and that is a place where you kind of go into, reaction, because you, what is your reaction? Oh, okay, cool. You delivered it to me. I will align and agree to it. So everywhere, and notice it's an alignment and agreement, and we are still calling it a reaction.
Yes.
Alignment and agreement is a reaction. Anything, whether you align and agree or resist and react, is a reaction if you are not asking a question about it. Everything where you are aligning and agreeing and resisting and reacting, these are all reactions where you're not asking a question about it and asking, okay, what is truly possible for me? What is really going on here? And and the next question is, what distractor implant am I functioning from? What are the distractor implants I'm functioning from? And that is when you break the cycle in your life.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay. And most of this will get clear, like we will be talking over and over again and in different ways. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to, like, kind of like catch this part, because it was like a kind of like a key part where where the problems are issued at us and we make them our own. Okay. Hence
Yeah.
implants. Kirti said, can we use tool return to sender with consciousness attached here, Shivam, without need to dissect it or understand that? Well, yeah, you could use return to sender, but what do you want to, if you don't know? So there is this thing. Are you dissecting, or are you guys staying present with it? How do you know? What's the difference? You are dissecting and figuring it out when you are trying to form opinions about it, when you're trying to come to conclusion about it, when you're trying to make decisions about it, and when or alignment and agreement and resistance reaction. Now, how do you stay present with it still without having to analyze it when you ask a question? Why do you want to ask a question? Because it gives you clarity. I wish there was a way to to say, oh, interesting point of view one time in the day, and then you're an interesting point of view throughout the day. And but the thing is, sometimes it's just not something that you have bought from others, where you just do return to sender, because until or unless, and distracted implants is one of those mysterious things where if you don't get present to it, you will keep doing, like how I said, like somebody was trying to receive the judgment, until I asked them, hey, was this a judgment, or were you actually, did you face an invalidation? It's the same way. If returning to sender, and again, like it's about that question where if just returning to sender makes it light for you, great. If it doesn't, Please stay with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Okay. And then something else. Nalini. Nalini, are you able to hear me okay now? Okay.
I had to leave and join back again to hear you.
Okay. Okay. Ramya says, what if we get a yes to the question, is this person trying to invalidate me? Yes. Hold on to that and I will come to it little later. Okay. Or is this an invalidation? Okay. Kavita, sweetheart, okay, your question, just next time, just send your question to everyone as well. क्योंकि क्या होता है कि अगर मैं नहीं पढ़ रही तो श्रुति और परिता पढ़ लेंगे तो फिर वो मेरे को बता देंगे. तो कविता ने लिखा है, मुझे गुस्सा बहुत आता है जब कोई झूठ बोलता है, मेरा ओवर रिएक्शन होता है, मुझे जेलसी भी बहुत होती है, मुझे बुरा भी जल्दी लगता है, तो क्या करूं? ग्रेट, आई एम रियली हैप्पी, यू आर इन द राइट प्लेस. जेलसी के बारे में भी हम बाद में बात करेंगे. एंड एक्चुअली जेलसी और एंगर का लिटरली हैंड इन हैंड काफी चलता है. Okay. And Kavita, thank you for that awareness that you have and that clarity that you have about it. Because jealousy or anger काफी बार साथ में चलता है. And वही चीज हम लोग, you know, जैसे जैसे cover करते जाएंगे, what we'll be looking at is when these are clubbed together. Okay. So you will, you know, so it's like, for example, hatred. Hatred के नीचे there is usually an anger. Then another place, sadness ke niche. And even though sadness is not one of the distractor implants, but I'm hoping ki, like, you know, in the next 7 calls we talk about sadness, because sadness ke niche a lot of times what I've found is suppressed anger. So insan dukhi, and so many kids have depression, and there's so many teenage and young adult kids have depression, and when I work with them, I don't work on their depression, I work on their suppressed anger. Okay, so so what, okay, and then what's yeah, Sarita will come to that, and difference between judgment and invalidation. Okay, I'm sorry, did I like just tease you there with the judgment and invalidation part? And okay, good. Yes, but we will talk about it. Where was I? Be aware of, okay, you need to, okay, this is how it works. Okay, call participants. Sometimes when I watch movies about racism or when I perceive something that is really unjust, it makes me very sad and angry. Hate. Gary, yes, that's because it takes hate to have prejudice. It takes hate to have prejudice. For prejudice to exist, you have to do hate. Most people don't get that prejudice is always hate. By prejudice, I mean, Gary's talking about racism. Prejudice is basically where you have preference ki, acha, this is better than that, or this is inferior. Prejudice is also about a predetermined judgment about certain type of people. Prejudice could also be about men are like this, women are like that. Okay, and or rich people are like this, or oh, consciousness people are like this is like that, this is, so anywhere where you try to do separation, right? Because what is prejudice you're doing? आप हिस्से में बांट रहे हो ना, like you're taking something and putting it in two halves, you're separating it. Okay, this I don't like, and these are the people and these are the things I don't like, and this I can tolerate. Yeah, that's prejudice. And so what Gary is saying is most people don't get that prejudice is always hate. It is never anything less. People create hate in order to create separation. They do it in order to justify the meanness, the anger, the fury, and the rage they are going to do or might do or could do if they needed to do it. Prejudice is just part of the system of anger, rage, fury, and hate, which are some of the primary elements that people on this planet function from. If there was no hate, would there be the possibility of prejudice and wars and all that kind of stuff? So how many of you are actually, okay, so truth, how many of you are actually aware of the anger, rage, hate, fury that's going on for the police workers and the health workers in their world? How many of them are enraged that they have to do this? How many of them are enraged that they have to go to work, whereas they could have been at home? How many of them are enraged they have to go to work and put them at risk? So how many police workers and health workers Yeah, anger, rage, hate, fury, are you aware of? Cool. Everything that is, would you now return to centers with consciousness attached and gratitude attached? Or I don't know about gratitude, but consciousness attached. Whatever's light for you. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay. Um, so if there was no hate, would there be the possibility of prejudice and wars and all that kind of stuff? No, because people hate when other people have more money than they do. They hate when somebody has something they don't have. They hate when somebody gets something they think they should have sole access to. These things are ways people create a difficulty that they don't seem willing to overcome. And the reason they can't overcome it is because it is a distractor implant, not reality. When you perceive something that is unjust, unnecessary, or inappropriate, and you have sadness or the anger that comes up after the sadness, ask, is this actually anger? Or is this the potency that is required to change this in my life or in the world? What other possibilities are available now if I'm willing to be the energy of potency? Is frustration a part of anger? Is it a lesser form of anger? The only reason you get frustrated is because you lack information. When you get frustrated, you have to ask, what information am I missing here that would take care of this? I talked with a woman who said she was frustrated. When I told her that frustration happens when you are missing information, she suddenly got the information she was missing. She saw that the people she had been frustrated with wanted to see her as insane because that made them right. That was really valuable information for her. What freedom do you have when you realize that people have a fixed point of view about you? What freedom do you have when you realize that people have a fixed point of view about you? I seem to have a lot of frustration. Ask, what additional information do I need here that will make this frustration go away? Last week, somebody lied to me, and I knew he was lying. I didn't ask if there was a lie, but a surge of potency, of energy moved through me. I grabbed something made of stainless steel and started bending it like it was a silly putty. What was going on? When you recognize that somebody is trying to make you react and you don't, you step into the power and potency that is available to you, and you have the ability to do all kinds of things you didn't know you could do. When you recognize that somebody is trying to make you react and you don't, and how do you know if somebody is trying to make you react? Please ask, is this person trying to get a reaction from me? And if you don't, then you step into the power and potency. Just by that, just by going into question and asking for that clarity, you step into the power and potency that is available to you, and you have the ability to do all kinds of things you didn't know you could do. Like the grandmother who lifts the car of the grandchild trapped underneath it with one hand. If you went beyond all the distractors and distractions from what is true for you, would you have more abilities like that? Probably so. You would probably have more of the capacity you have that has been hidden and sublimated by the distractor implants. If you get that most of the people in the world function from distractor implants and live in reaction to everything, and if you stop living in reaction, you have the ability to do things that have never been done before. So how many role models and reference points do you have of what not going into reaction should look like? Ha! Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. I mean, growing up, like I think there was only one that I could think of was Mahatma Gandhi. सब लोग यही कहते थे, गांधी की तरह, like you know, whatever, दूसरा गाल दिखाओ. And then eventually I was like, no, I'm not, you know. But the thing is, like, how many did you ever have a role model in mind? Like every time you got an anger, but there was someone there that you were like, okay, I should be like them, or some reference point that I should be like this, and that means no reaction. Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pop, all nine shows, well, and why? Because that again is, you are looking for a recipe. How many of you are looking for a recipe to deal with anger, rage, hate, fury? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate at all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How many of you judge yourself when you are angry? And what happens then? Do you get frustrated or do you get more angry? Okay, how many of you get frustrated when you judge yourself for being angry? Yeah, so frustration means lack of information. So is the information there? That is probably you need to ask more questions about why you're angry in the first place. And how many of you get angry when you judge yourself when you're angry? So how many of you get more angry when you judge yourself when you're angry? Do you know why? Because you also get angry when there's a lie. And what's the lie? Judgment. Judgment is always a lie. Whether you do it to yourself or you do it to someone else. That doesn't mean that you go into rightness. That again is a judgment. Positive judgment or negative judgment, both are a lie. Okay, so everything that brought up, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Any questions? I get angry when someone unnecessarily blames me. Yes, that we can cover that a little bit today, and we will covering more of that tomorrow when it comes with blame. Yeah, so but yeah, so it's like with a blame, Oppo A5 2020 with blame, what are you aware of? If you would like to unmute yourself, we can talk about that. Hi.
Hi. Yeah, hi. This was my question.
Who?
This was my question actually.
I know. Who's this?
I'm Darpana Bajaj. I'm
Okay.
Darpana Bajaj.
Okay. All right. Cool. So can you elaborate? Blame. What about that blame? Is you looking for clarity?
I know the truth inside me, but just to put me down, people say
Yeah.
anything. Not people, maybe some particular people.
Yeah. So.
And which makes me little angry and upsets me.
Yeah. And what if you could ask this question? There are 5 questions there. What did they mean by it? Were they trying to put me down? Were they trying to invalidate me, or were they just trying to deliver the judgment?
Okay.
Yeah. So which one is it usually?
Just repeat one more time.
Was this coming from a space of caring?
No.
Okay. Were they trying to be mean to you?
Yes.
Okay. Were they trying to give their opinion to you so they could control you?
Yes.
Okay. And was this also an invalidation of you?
No.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that clarity. So may I know your name, please? I asked that.
Darpana Bajaj.
Darpana. Okay. Hi, Darpana. Okay, cool.
Hi.
So the thing is, okay, so so what is the awareness you got? That they were trying to judge you?
Yeah.
Okay. They were trying to judge you so they could control you?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that still make you angry?
No.
Okay. Are you willing to be controlled?
No.
That. So being controlled is your choice. But when you're willing to be controlled, is one of the greatest manipulation there can be for people who are trying to control you.
Okay.
Okay. Let me say this in different words. How many of you can actually be controlled? No one, right? But how many people are trying to control you? How many of you have at least one person who's trying to control you? Yeah. So with that, either you can have a fuck you energy in your world where it's like, fuck you, bhar mein jao, go to hell if you try to control me. Okay. Now what will that create? That will create, would that create more ease for you, or would that create more ways that they're going to find to control you?
No, ease to me.
Would that be ease, or will they be so challenged by that energy in your world that you'll be caught in a cat and mouse game of them only trying to control you?
No.
There is a barrier in your world. Sure?
Sure.
Sure?
Yeah, bhar mein jaye.
Bhar mein jaye. So is that working for you?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then why is blame a problem then?
Maybe to put me down, or maybe little
You are,
jealous
but you say
of me,
bhar mein
maybe.
jaye works for you. So
That now you told me that I'm getting that awareness.
you don't have it already?
I used to, I don't know, somewhere it not feel, I never used to feel ease about it.
Yeah, but truth, did you not, were you always, can you be controlled easily?
No,
Okay. So did
but
you,
it does affect me.
what affects you?
Affects me.
Control.
When people are on the wrong, that affects me. When
Okay.
I know I'm right,
Okay.
that disturbs me.
Okay. So, okay. So are you trying to control them?
No, why
Okay.
should I?
How much control are you doing with your rightness and their wrongness? So is this a match of control?
I don't know.
Cool. Look at that. If this is a tug of war, who has more control? If they are wrong, you are right. They think they are right, you are wrong. Who's
Hmm.
trying to control whom, and how much life and time and energy are you spending in the tug of war of who's right, who's wrong? So would you rather be right than be free?
Free.
You sure?
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to make a little bit different choices there then. Because
Right.
either you can be stuck in the rightness of things,
Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
or you can be free where it doesn't matter who's right, who's wrong.
Yeah, actually, that space is better.
That space is
Feeling
better.
lighter.
Yeah, right. So how many of you are trying to rather be right and never be wrong, rather than be totally out of control that you can be?
Hmm.
Okay, everything that doesn't allow that, right, wrong, good, bad, pot, all my shows, boys and beyond. And there but मैं एक चीज बताऊंगी control की.
हाँ जी. Hmm.
And because I grew up in an environment where everybody would like to control me, and I'm not someone who can be controlled. And it's fact, like अगर कोई मेरे को थोड़ा सा भी doubt हो जाता है कि if somebody is trying to control me, my immediate response is like, fuck you, try controlling me. Yeah. Now what happened was, for the longest time, I was like, when I had that energy, guess what I was creating in my world? I was only creating a challenge for all of them to keep controlling me. Okay. And then that started to get a little bit crazy for me. Okay. Until the day where I was suggested a different possibility, where it was like, okay, what if I could lower my barriers? Have they ask a question? Are they trying to control me? Okay. And if that's a yes, what if I can be willing to let them control me? You don't have to choose to let them control you, but you can be willing to let them control you. Because when you're willing to let them control you, then that red sign on your head that says "fuck you, don't you dare control me" goes away.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. So what if, instead of all, I mean, and how many of you are trying to do "fuck you, don't you dare control me," rather than be willing to be controlled and be aware when somebody's trying to control you? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all nice shows. Because there's another thing. When you have this whole wall in your world that says "fuck you, don't you try to control me," that's one thing. You cut off your awareness of when somebody's actually controlling you, rather than be present and that's the beauty of these questions. So when somebody's doing blame on you, and great awareness, if you are like, oh, they're doing blame on me, they're judging me, why are they judging me? Oh, because they want to control me. Yeah, they want me to behave the way that I should behave according to them. That's control. Okay, cool. Everywhere I'm not willing to be controlled by them, I uncreate and destroy it all.
Okay.
Try that for 3 days and let me know how that goes.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Rather than that whole barrier of right and wrong.
Mm.
Okay? Everything that
Okay.
please destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good, bad, what, all night shows. Yeah. How many
Thank
pages
you.
are left? You're welcome. How many
Thank
pages?
you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. How many pages are we left on the chapter? 5, 10? Many? Okay, okay, cool. All right, cool. Anyone else? Any questions? What if you don't? I would like, because somewhere like is happening. So it's like, I would like to address some questions. So questions.
I like to Shivam, I have a question.
Okay, Sarika raised her hand first. Ramya, I'll come to you right after Sarika.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, go on. Sarika froze. Okay.
Can you hear me? It seems the net.
Yeah, try putting off your, shutting off your video.
Yeah, sure.
That will help. Yeah, sometimes that helps with the connection. Okay. Yes, Sarika, go ahead.
Yeah, hi Shivam. Shivam, there's something I'd like to ask. Now, we were just talking about control, right? You were
Yeah.
sharing some things on control. When people want to take, when people want to charge, when people want to take control over you. Now, with me, there is something I've always come across most of the time when somebody tries to, advise me on something, or is trying to preach me, or, is trying to guide me without being asked for that. That creates unrest and it makes me very annoyed, So, though at the back of the mind, I keep communicating this to myself, okay, bhar mein jao types, that attitude. But somewhere, even then it creates unrest within me.
But I'm sorry, did you just say, like, were you trying to communicate yourself a way to resolve the issue? Like go, like bhar mein jao, that kind of energy? Were you trying to resolve the control or the reaction?
Not that, not literally bhar mein jao, but I'm like, yes, I'm annoyed that why did I ask for it, Why are you, is it that you're trying to take control over me?
Yeah, so, and great.
That
So
is something I don't take it easily. It doesn't, it creates unrest for some time. Yeah, and it annoys me sometimes too.
And so Sarika, let's look at it this way, okay?
Yeah.
And guys, like, as I'm doing this with Sarika, please, like, try to look at it with issues in your life. Okay, let's try to list down the reactions you have. Is that okay? So, like,
Sure.
I'm able to see that after reading this part of the chapter, that these are the reactions.
Yeah, sure.
What are the reactions that you're having? You're annoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're angry at yourself for creating this.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yeah.
Unrest. Unrest, yeah. Reaction number 3. What else? Sarika,
hello, can you hear me?
Now I can. After unrest,
hello.
Yeah. So far we've got 3 reactions that that I could catch. Annoyance. Hello, Sarika, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Annoyance. Yeah.
Annoyance, anger towards yourself for creating this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the third was unrest. I love it how she disappears every time I say unrest. Okay. So, but you guys are getting this, like, this is one of the ways you start to look at this. Okay. Yeah. So Sarika, so is there any other reaction that's coming up for you when this is happening? So if
anxiety.
Huh?
I get anxious also. It creates anxiety also for some time.
Anxiety. Okay, cool. So anxiety is number 4. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna. It'll be great if you can be on a better connection. If not, then I will keep talking, but then I may not be able to communicate with you. I don't know. Let's see how far this goes. Okay. So now she got annoyance. Annoyance is what? Can someone else unmute themselves and help me have this conversation? What is annoyance? Irritation, right?
Yeah.
Irritation. Irritation over what? Irritation about what?
that I'm being judged
Cool.
on that.
Okay, so cool.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And can you pick, how about you pick one example actually for us of somewhere where this situation happened?
For example, very recently only this happened. Now this lockdown time, I'm sure it's a difficult time for everybody. As the workers are not coming to our homes, and there's a lot of work at home, plus with kids, and everything is like, the life has changed completely. And it has taken a toll on everybody's lifestyle as well. So, for example, a very small example. My mom calls up one day and then she says okay, so I was like, okay, there's so much to do, this, that, this, and she'd been trying to talk to me again and again. For some reason, I was not able to talk to her because I was busy.
Okay, sweetheart, you're gonna have to speak like, I mean, ask me a question or something quickly. It's 9:58.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So she just said, so she started giving me a piece of advice. You should do this morning when you get up. You can finish this,
Okay,
and then you
so
do this.
so that's what you lead with. That's what you lead with. Okay, my mom gave me advice and I was annoyed.
Yes,
Okay?
yes.
All right.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, and I don't think that has anything to do with lockdown, my friend. Moms can annoy you regardless. Okay.
Big time.
So, yeah. Okay. So cool. So you okay. So and interesting that you picked up mom, because mothers are people who are pretty strong entities in our world. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they have different kind of effect. And notice when I asked you for a random example, you picked up one of the most significant relationships that a person has is mom. And okay, so mom said something and you got annoyed. Yeah. Okay, what were you annoyed of? Were you aware of her judgment?
What was I annoyed about? Yeah, I mean, it's been so many years. She knows me in and out, and then why is she, giving me this piece of advice now?
Oh, cool. So were you judging her or she was judging you?
I think it was vice versa. I think I was also somewhere judging. Yes, I agree. I was also judging her somewhere. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So cool. How many of you use judgment as a reaction to judgment? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pop, online shows, boys. Okay, so this is literally how you start getting present. So it's not about dissecting it, it's about looking at it, because you're not figuring it out. Every time, so the question that I am asking you, Sarika, the question I'm asking Sarika, you guys, that's the question you got to be asking. Okay, I sense judgment. Okay, so what was I annoyed about? Okay, cool, judgment. What was what did it irritate me? Did I judge back? Or if it's a judgment, did I receive it or did I judge back? Okay, she did not receive it so much. Okay, cool. So lower your barriers and receive it.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Next, what else was coming up with mom?
That is it, because this happens quite often actually. That's right.
Yeah. So cool. What invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury with mother are you choosing? And I'll explain it, okay? Everything that is, would you guys please destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shows per so. Then here's another thing. Now, mother is someone, you will not only have anger, rage, hate, fury, you're likely to have, and all of you will have either have anger, rage, hate, fury towards yourself for being bad daughter or bad son. But this is one relationship where there'll be anger, rage, hate, fury, blame, shame, guilt, regret, obsessive, compulsive, addictive, perverted points of views, business, death, reality, life, living, love, sex, and actually love, believe it or not, but love, sex, doubt, envy, jealousy, all of these, okay? And we'll talk about it, mother and father, these are the key relationship, or spouse, that kind of thing, okay? Right. But, so this is what you do. So you get aware of your reactions, you get aware of your anger, rage, hate, fury. The step number 1 that you do is what invention am I using for the anger, rage, hate, fury with mom I'm choosing? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shows, boys. Now, the other thing that you do, so why is it an invention? So remember when Darpana was saying right, she was right, wrong. How many of you have actually lived in such a way that you always try to do the right thing? Okay, how much judgment do you have to do that towards yourself and how much judgment do you have to do of others in your life, whether they are doing it right or wrong. So this whole thing, either you can be right or you can be free. But what you do is that you not only do right and wrong. When you have a right point of view, when you have a point of view that you have decided is right, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you will invent scenarios and reality that will prove your point of view right. If you have an implant of anger that you don't clear, you will invent ways that will only bring out that anger. You are the master creator of magnitude of your reality. Everything that brought up, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all nine shows, boys and beyond. So what invention are you using for the distractor implants you are choosing? When you choose something, you create ways to prove the rightness of your choice. I will be saying that several times in the next 7 calls or 8 calls. I don't know. I think we may have to extend the number of calls, Shruti, because it's not going as fast as like we should be. Okay, so cool. So the thing is that, so and that is where you invent. So what invention am I using for the anger, rage, hate, fury? With mom, I'm choosing. Okay, so let's do this. What invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury? With mother, are you guys choosing? Everything that is. Now, that could be towards you, towards them, towards dad, towards anybody, but anger, rage, hate, fury regarding mother. Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate at all times a Godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shots. What invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury with regards to father you're choosing? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate at all times a Godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shows. What invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury with regards to spouse you're choosing? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shows, boys. What invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury towards your exes you were choosing? Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shows, boys and beyond. And what invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury with regards to mommies, kids you're choosing?
Children.
Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate at all times a Godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shows, boys and beyond. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Shiva.
How is it now? The annoyance, the unrest.
Shivam, it is already 10 and we have plenty of questions.
Okay.
Kirti is there, Ramaya is there, Neelam is there.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get to everyone's
So
question,
what
but
else is possible?
I would like to finish this conversation since it's begun. Sarika, how is it now?
Yes.
It's kind of, it's kind of settling. It's kind of disappearing actually from the body.
Awesome, cool.
While I was talking to you,
Yes.
the sensation, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So now next thing is
Yeah.
get present of see and see how much of the annoyance, unrest.
Yeah. Yeah.
और क्या था इसका?
Unrest, annoyance, and
Wow.
anxiety.
Anxiety. How much of that is left now?
It's definitely gone down a big degree.
Okay, I'm asking how much of that is left.
Maybe 30% more.
Cool. What is
How much of it? I didn't get the question. I'm sorry. How much of it is left? As in?
That's okay. So now what I'm asking is there some anxiety left still? Is there some charge left? Because if there is, then there may be something else also tied with it. Remember I said things are glumped. Okay?
No, as of now that I'm talking to you, it is not there. No.
Okay, fantastic. So that's
Yeah.
another thing that you do. You have listed down your reactions. You talk yourself, you facilitate yourself through that, guys. And then take a look. Then you will hit something big. That then you'll be like, okay, you cleared it. And then look at your reactions again. Wait, and okay, am I still irritated about that conversation with mom? Or is there still anxiety there? And if there's an anxiety is basically what Gary says is anxiety is awareness of a future that you're not willing to choose. Okay, so it could be anything, but you can at least ask yourself, okay, cool, what future here is available to me that I'm still not choosing?
Okay.
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 So that's another thing. So it could just be a future where you are not judging your mom and you are willing to receive all of your mom's judgment.
Okay.
You know? That kind of thing. Okay. Cool. All right. I will do one more
Thank you.
question. You're welcome. Ramya had a question. She had raised her hand.
Yes.
Yes. Hi.
Shivam.
Yeah. Hi, love.
Hi. So, so I get really angry, and it happened today as well, when somebody, and in this case it was my husband, like is rude to me or insults me in front of another person. Like if he does that when it's just him and me, I don't know, everything works, like the interesting point of view and all of that. And
cool. Everything that brought up for everybody. Can we please just join and create it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all night shows, boys and girls. Okay, cool. Let's talk about insulting spouses. All right. Yeah. Okay, so go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. And I mean, the level of anger is huge when there's a witness. Like today it was my son. Sometimes it could be the maid or somebody else. But if it's in front of another person, I'm just like, ah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, and thank you for that question, because this is another thing that I wanted to give you guys before we end this call. There are three things that I basically give people when they are dealing with anger. Okay. The first thing with anger and rage, right? So, okay, Ramya, was this anger or is this rage and fury?
It built up into
all four, the rage, hate.
Now it's gone into hate.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like it's such a tied up thing. It's anger, and then it's like rage, and then most of the times, how do you know if it's rage? Another way of rage is that it's suppressed anger. So it's like if somebody keeps hitting it again, and then it becomes a rage and a fury. Okay, so there are three things with anger, especially. Okay, so there is one thing where anger shows up tied up with rage, fury, and hate. Yeah, so you do step number one. What invention I'm using for the anger, rage, hate, fury I'm choosing. So basically you pock the distractor implants. So all the distractor implants of anger, rage, hate, fury, I uncreate and destroy it all, right? That's step one. So okay, so let's do this with you, Ramya. Okay, so all the distractor implants of anger, rage, hate, fury that are showing up now that you're functioning from, would you please destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. And what invention are you using for the anger, rage, hate, fury you're choosing? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you please destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. Okay. Now, how is it? Little better?
Better.
Better? Okay. Is it completely gone?
No.
Awesome. Thank you. I love you as a candidate right now then. Okay, second. So now notice, so there is still some anger left, right? Yes. Okay. So now when that happens, you guys, the second thing that you do is you ask, is there a lie spoken or unspoken here?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So a lot of times it may be that somebody is telling you a lie, or they think they're telling you the truth, but they are believing that lie. Okay, so you have to ask, because it could just very well be like, the person it may be truth in their world, but they're living in a lie. So if you are aware of that also shows up as an anger, because anger and that anger is like lie being told. Okay, so was there a spoken or unspoken lie here?
I'm getting a yes.
Cool. What is it? Now, this is the one where you have to ask what it is, because until you kind of don't acknowledge it, the anger will keep playing. And the beauty of this is, if anger is showing, that means the lie is also there. So everywhere you've decided that you cannot have the awareness of the spoken or unspoken lies, can you all destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys and beyonds. Okay? So what's the lie, spoken or unspoken? Is there one lie or is there more than one lie?
More than one lie.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Yeah. So what is a lie?
I'm getting something about respect and control.
Okay. What about respect? Do you have an expectation that he should respect you?
No.
Or do you have a demand?
But okay, I think I have an expectation that the other people should respect me.
Yeah. But do you respect you?
No.
Yeah, there you go. Spoken or unspoken lie.
And I'm cool with not respecting me.
Yeah, there you go. You treat the world how it should treat you. How? By the way you treat you. You teach the world how it should treat you by the way you treat you.
That's huge.
Yeah. Now, how is that anger?
It's not there.
Oh, really? All gone? Thoda sa?
I'm feeling more stupid about myself. No, because I'm
No.
like
Okay, that's judgment of you.
but he's treating me the way I treat myself. Like
Exactly.
make fun of myself in front of others, and he made fun of me in front of others. So
Yeah.
it's exactly the thing I do to me.
Yeah. And it's not about trying to make him right. Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pot, pock, all no. It's about being in the driving seat of your car. You show the world how to treat you. So anytime someone, and guys, please believe me, I know what insult is. I've been insulted, humiliated so much, okay? And I face it a lot, but one thing, then I take a step back and I'm like, whoa, wait. What here is required here? Where did I create this? Okay. And okay, is there something else? And where am I not giving myself that respect or that honor? And then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've had like the craziest woman who I've known for years, who's so, who I've known for 5-6 years. And she was like really, I would say a very mean woman. And she called me unkind, in front of a bunch of people. Was that judgment? Yeah. Was that a way of controlling me? Yes. And as and when I kept getting that clarity, I kept lowering my barriers and acknowledging it. Was that an invalidation of me? Yes. And I did not have anger. I just knew, okay, great awareness. That's her creation and that's her. But what else can I create now? And she's not been a part of my life since then. I mean, I create with her, but she's not, I still create with her, but she's not been someone who impacts my life. I'll put it that way. And that's potency. And that is what lies under all of that anger, is the third thing, potency. Not a potency of like, fuck off, main duniya ko aag laga dunga, kutte tera khoon pee jaunga. Not that kind of potency, okay? But it's this potency is literally like a silent storm, if I can call it. And if you turn it up, your life changes and people start treating you differently. And you start treating you differently. Because when you acknowledge your potency, what are you doing? You're honoring you. But for all of that, you have to get out of that mental chatter of like, shit, he insulted me in front of everybody. Shit, like, how can you treat me like this? And like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. But do you see how much of that mental chatter is? And that mental chatter is what goes away when you pot-pock your distraction plans.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there ease? Did that conversation help others? Yeah.
Yes.
3 things, guys, with anger.
Yes, yes.
This is something, and that's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, this anger call, I'll be happy to do it as a free call, because these are the 3 things like you've got to really look at with anger. As for other questions, I would love to take. I just don't know.
Thank you, Shivam, so much.
You're welcome, Ramya. Thank you so much. You're welcome. And okay, I don't know. Wow. Do you guys have a pick? Anyone wants to go? We'll do one last question, guys. And those of you who are staying back on the calls, I would really appreciate it. Like, if we continue with the questions tomorrow. Tomorrow is our next call, and then we'll be having it alternate days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like that. And if we have to go from 7 to 8, I'll be happy to do it, because eventually I will finish it. But if it's going to be something like, we'll have to draw a line with 1 hour, 20 minutes, 1 hour, 30 minutes and stuff like that.
Yes.
So any question? Last question? Sangeeta, I would love to do sexual frustration, but sexual frustration is something that is a huge combination of quite a few distractor implants, honey. And that is something I would like to do in call number 5, only because by then we would have covered jealousy. By then we would have covered love, sex as distractor implants. We would have covered a lot of things and a lot of conversations. So today is not, this first call is not when I can cover sexual frustration.
So can I ask relating anger?
Yeah, Pooja. But you're there, not tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, fine. All right. Okay, go ahead and ask. Yeah. Ask.
Is anger related to rejection? It's like a feeling of rejection creates anger, and it creates revenge. It creates revenge, anger. It's like dikhaungi. It's like, then we do all the bullshit stuff.
Yeah.
To show off.
So that is one thing. Okay, so rejection can bring up a lot of emotions for others, right? Sadness, but which under that would be anger. But how much of rejection brings up for people because they are angry to not receive rejection? How many of you would rather get angry than receive rejection? Where have you decided rejection is true for you? And that's a lie, right? So these are the things that remember we said lie is one of what's going to flash as an anger. Rejection, if you start getting angry at rejection, what invention are you creating then? You'll keep creating rejection in your world. Yeah? So, and thank you for your question, and great question. Like, what invention am I using for the rejection I'm choosing?
Okay.
Okay. Everything that is, would you please destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. And you can, and instead of that, so it's like you can receive rejection. The lie there is, what is the lie there? Will you ever be rejected? You would reject you by aligning and agreeing with other people's rejection or reacting to their rejection. So if somebody rejects me, okay, if somebody's like, oh, forget it, like I'm not going to come for her class. Rejection, right? Now, what could be a possible alignment agreement? Okay, cool. I guess I didn't do my energy pulls, or I didn't pot me enough, or I'm not conscious enough. Another reaction could be, my God, they keep taking free stuff, blah, blah, blah. But they don't come for paid, blah, blah, blah. These are all reactions, right? Where is your honoring of other people's choice? When you honor you honor other people's choice. You can honor you by receiving it, because you just have to receive someone else's choice. That is one thing. So you lower your barriers and receive. Okay. And then the third thing is, the lie is, can you ever be rejected? No. Okay. You make rejection true when you reject you. Look at Donald Trump. He doesn't buy anybody's rejection. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, wow, talk about crazy, whatever, It's like that guy doesn't buy anybody's rejection.
Yeah.
And there are so many people out there. Like, it doesn't matter whether they're great, conscious, anti-conscious. That's not the thing. It's like, they don't, so many movie stars, they don't, or so many politicians, they don't buy other people's rejection. Yeah, that's one thing. And the third thing is your potency, right? Distractor implant, lie, and the third thing is your potency. So what potency of yours are you refusing that is creating this rejection?
Yes, I understand that. Yeah.
Everything that brought up, can you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, hot, cold, all 9 shorts, boys and beyond. Yeah.
It's an expectation also from some specific people so that we are rejected, because others do, it doesn't matter. But there are some specific stamps
Yeah.
that we are putting expectations on, so we will feel rejected.
Yeah, and that's, thank you for saying that, because when you do expectation, you again diminish yourself in a potency. Because your potency is to receive everything,
Okay.
never with an expectation or a projection. You going into expectation, projection is not you being you. It's you being
So
in a
wherever I have done this projection separations, no?
yeah.
I've lost everyone in my, for the
Yeah.
person who have done it, I've lost them.
You are not the
I've
only
lost
one.
them.
You're not the only one. That's how we lose people, is by because the minute you do expectation, the minute you do projection, you're creating a diminished version of a conscious relationship with anybody. Be it your parents, be it your kids, be it your business partner, anybody. Everything that brought up, can we please destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pork, all 9 shows beyond. We will, yeah. Any questions so far? Like, Shruti, you wanna, like, what time are we starting tomorrow?
Yeah, so hi, Shivam, you have just blown, I'm speechless now. And the questions which Ramya, Pooja, Sarika, I think it's contributed to all of us who are all glued up and listening to you like that at this hour also. So again, inviting all of you all tomorrow, and we are starting tomorrow, and we are here till 8th May. And Shivam is there to blow up. 8th
Yeah.
May.
And if you guys are interested in signing up, please contact Shruti or Parita, and they will help you with the payment details. Are there any last questions, guys? Like, anyone else who wants to ask a question? I just kind of feel bad leaving questions like unanswered.
Kirti had questions. Kirti, would you like to ask if she's there? Kirti, yeah, she
hi.
was there. Yeah, she's there.
Hey, Kirti, hi. Yes, please.
Shivam, just give me one gift behind, me letting people control me, judge me. You so beautifully said that I can see that they judge me. I know that they are, I mean, all of what you mentioned about your other person who was mean to you. And I just quite couldn't get that part where you accepted and everything and it dissipated.
Yeah.
It doesn't dissipate for me. So
I didn't accept it.
So can you just, what is the gift? What is the gift? My question is, what is the gift? If I can recognize the gift, probably it will help me take me beyond.
So why don't you talk to me about what happened for you? Where you
Multiple times it goes to rage and fury.
Yeah.
It goes to rage and fury, and it goes to trying to control and trying to judge.
Yeah.
Same things what you were talking about.
Yeah. So, okay. So you as an infinite being, can you ever be controlled? No.
No.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So when somebody controls you, is that a lie or a true? So that's a lie, right? What will that do?
It's lie.
It'll make you angry.
Yeah.
You just have to acknowledge the lie.
How do you go beyond, Shivam?
By your demand of you.
Okay.
Okay. So how much are you trying to control you?
I'm trying to control others. I don't try to control myself. Thank you very much.
Are you sure?
Yes, I think I'm a control bitch.
Yeah, but then
So
how much are you trying to control you? Is that, and that's a yes and no question.
It's a no. It's a no for me. Absolutely a no.
Yeah, but then how much do you control you by going into anger, rage, hate, fury, and distracted influence?
I still, it doesn't come to control me. I'm so sorry. I can't get this.
I get it. That's fine. But you have been implanted. But every time you make a choice to enforce those implants in your world, made a choice to control you.
Yes. Thank you. That was light. That was so light. Thank you.
Yeah. So and then again, that's the thing, right? It's all about how do you treat yourself.
Ooh, thank you, Shivam. That was huge.
So you make a demand to pot your distracted implants. You make a demand to look at it. And sometimes it's going to feel like you're walking on broken glass, but you look at it. You lower
It's
your
more
barrier.
like fire. Yeah.
You look at it and you ask those 5 questions. What's going on? What is it? What is it? That's the thing. Like, that's why if you notice, I asked Sarika, I asked
Yes.
Ramya, after
Yes.
each major breakthrough, I asked how much of that charge is left. You have
Yes.
to look at that. That's how, and this is my hope and dream with you guys, that after you've done the book club, I would really like you guys to be able to facilitate yourself that way.
Thank you so much, Shivam.
No?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so okay, so you you make a demand of yourself to potpock the distracted implants as in great clarity that anger, rage, hate, fury is coming. Okay. And then ask, okay, and then when somebody tries to control you, the first thing I do is I lower my barriers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool, everywhere I'm not willing to be controlled, I destroy and uncreate it all.
Okay, thank you.
Then the person in front of me usually forgets what they were up to. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome. Thank you. Okay. Are we good?
Good. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. Parita, anything? Okay. Cool. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, Shivam, so much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
again, invitation to all of you all, whoever is looking to join for the book club. Parita and myself, we are here. Connect with us. The payment details will be given, shared by all of you all. Thank you for your time here.
Thank you, guys, for your contribution.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Shivam.
Shivam. Thank you.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.